Brandon and Chastity write, "Hi, love the show. My question is, do you think we will see a live-action redo of Aladdin in the future?"
I don't think so. I think that would be a really hard one to pull off, and anything that you do right now, at least for the next 20 years, would be disfavorably compared to the animated classic. So for that reason, I don't think we'll see a live-action version of it. Any difference of opinion?
I don't think so.
No, I mean, actually, even the idea of a live-action Aladdin is not floating my boat. So.
I mean, you could do some fun stuff with it, depending on who directed it, with the carpet and everything too. But again, I agree. You're just going to start comparing it. Where's Robin Williams? And it's like, no,
right.
Stay away.
Although I will say this, the live stage show of Aladdin at Disneyland is awesome.
Really?
If you're at Disneyland, go, and I don't know if they're still doing it, but if they are still doing it, go see it. It's pretty funny. All right.
Raymond G writes, "What are the chances we get new redesigned lightsabers in the next Star Wars film?"
I think they'll stay classic with this. That's a better question for AMC Jedi Council, but I think they'll stay classic with this. I don't think you'll see them go crazy.
I think you'll get one. I think because even if you look at subtle things, like obviously the Darth Maul one, not subtle, but like Count Dooku's was
Count Dooku's needing Viagra one, the flaccid
But
lightsaber.
regardless, there are these different. I think you're going to see a different one, regardless of whoever it might be. You'll see one. We'll see
What about a
one.
tri-saber? Like three
Right.
of them? The dude can be like
Oh my
flipping
goodness!
around?
Right.
You just blew my mind. All right, what's next?
Rafael Hispanjo writes, "Do you guys think that a studio like Universal could start an original superhero cinematic universe?"
Oh yeah, and trust me, I believe not just Universal. I believe other studios are looking at that as well. I know for a fact one studio was actively putting out the word to the agents that they work with that they'd wanted to see some original superhero type material come in. Look, the only one that I can think of off the top of my head that really they had any kind of a push was Hancock. And I actually, until the last 20 minutes of that movie, how often do we have to say that? Until the last 20 minutes of the movie,
right.
I thought Hancock was really good. I'd be interested in seeing a sequel to Hancock, as a matter of fact. I think it can work with the right script, and I believe studios are seeing if they can pull it off. Have you guys heard anything?
I have, and I think that's almost an impossible task to pull off.
Tough.
I think it's really hard to pull off because you don't have that built-in fan base. I mean, look, it was going to be hard for them to try to do an Iron Man movie. When they were talking about Iron Man, people were like, I don't know if that's going to happen. To original content, it's got it right off the bat. The first movie has to do tremendous numbers in order to boost a franchise. Not impossible, but very, very hard.
Yeah, I think the only way I see doing something like that is like a multi-tiered approach where you just make 5 movies.
Yeah.
You just commit to the universe that you're making. And so you're like, hey, this is brand new. We don't, or they start up with getting comic books published, getting, a video game. It has to be a cross-platform type of push.
You just got to have that guy, the Russian guy that owns the Nets, just start throwing money at it.
All right, what's next?
This is a good one. Chris Burke writes, "Could we see them bring Emma Stone in as Mary Jane with her red hair?" I don't know.
Wouldn't that be a kick in the groin? All right, look, I'll say something. Here's what I honestly think, okay? I honestly think this. I don't think Sony's going to go with this, but imagine if they did. I, generally speaking, do not like love interests in my superhero movies. I want to see Superman fighting crime. I don't want to see him wrestling with his feelings about how can I get Lois to like me more. I don't give a crap about that kind of stuff. I like Tony and Pepper, and I really did like Peter and Gwen in this. I really, really did. But other than that, Thor with Natalie Portman, I couldn't give a crap about that. I really couldn't give a crap about any of them. What if they didn't do Mary Jane at all? What if in Spider-Man 2, or Spider-Man 3, I mean, no Mary Jane at all? What if part of the reason of pulling Mary Jane out of Amazing Spider-Man 2 wasn't just because it was emotionally inappropriate because of what Peter was dealing with, and it would have neutered basically the power of what happens in that film? What if it was also, what if we just had no love interest for Spider-Man for a film or two? That would be ballsy, and I would love it if they did that. As far as Emma Stone, no, they're not going to do that. I don't think the audience would stand for it. It just wouldn't make any sense.
It would confuse people if you did that,
Yeah.
Emma Stone. I don't think, going to your point, I think that they're going to have Mary Jane because she's just such a crucial part of it. But I do think that you take your time. We don't know. In the third one, it could be 3-4 years later, or 5 years later, because Andrew Garfield's like 30 years old anyway. So eventually you have to bring her in. But yeah, the Emma Stone thing, that would confuse too many people.
Yeah, technically, he just graduated high school.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man 2. So you're right. I would love it if they brought in an army of Gwen Stacy's. With all multiple different colored hair with like a weird outfit that just appears out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Execute Order 66.
Hail Spider-Man! But I love you! They're all running at him.
All right, 2 more, and then we'll call it a day.
Okay. William Parcell writes, do you think we could see a prequel Star Wars film about the formation of the Jedi and Sith?
No, and I wouldn't want one. I think some things are just best left as they are. This just is. And leave it at that. You know, look, we saw what happened with the Star Wars prequels when you feel the need, let's go back and explain everything.
Right.
Crap.
Right.
So I don't think they need to do that. I hope they don't either. But you never know. Who knows what they got planned?
I don't necessarily need to see the actual formation right from the bat, but I do want to see the Old Republic stuff, and I want to see it.
There is some cool Old Republic stuff, yeah.
Knights of the Old Republic?
Everything, the stuff the Knights of the Old Republic, what they did in the formation of Darth Revan, and how like one of the Sith armies began, and then how the rule of 2 happened with Darth Bane. There's fascinating stuff to be told in Old Republic stuff. So an origin of that, and I think we're going to see more of the Sith planet actually in Episode 7.
Oh, I agree.
And that might tie into a spin-off eventually. I do think we're going to see an Old Republic movie eventually.
I would love to see that. That was one of the first RPG games that I played all the way through and went through multiple times. I went evil, I went good.
I'm playing it when my wife goes out of town next month. I'm going to be playing it all for like 5
It's
minutes.
so good, and it's such a rich world that they developed. It just, everything makes sense within the Star Wars fabric with the Knights of the Old Republic. I'd love to see something cinematic done with that eventually.
All right, last question.
Susanna Luna writes, hey guys, love the show. My question is, why aren't animated movies ever rebooted?
Well, I think because really, what more can you do with them? I mean, like if you reboot a live-action film, you can totally change the look and the feel and all that kind of stuff. But the animated film is still the animated film. Like, what are you going to do? Reboot the animated Beauty and the Beast? What's going to be different? That animated original is so great. Look, with live action, you can make the argument audiences aren't going to go back and watch old black and white films. They're not going to go back and watch a film from the 70s. But the animated stuff seems to be different. So, I mean, while I do believe it will happen, I believe we will see a rebooted animated film at some point. But I don't ever think it'll be an ongoing trend like in live action, just because the need for it isn't as great. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I agree with you. I think that's why they do so many different versions of whether it be the live, like say Jungle Book, they're doing the live action version of it, or there will be you can't. The only one that I could see maybe them doing more the way that the animation is now with something like Snow White could be interesting. But then again, you bring up Snow White and they did the Huntsman movie and Mirror Mirror, and there's so many versions that they do through live action that I think it's easier to, not easier, but it's easier for them to try to do live action and just recreate the magic of the animation.
I wonder though, I mean, you mentioned Snow White, I was thinking, why not try doing, if you're going to do a reboot and do a remake, why not take the original Snow White and do it as a full brand new 3D version, but use everything from the original Snow White, all the character designs, everything that was done on a 2D level, and bring 3D into it, like 3D animation and 3D. I mean, I think that you open up a brand new rebooting style. You can reboot Dumbo, you can reboot the entire catalog. Peter Pan. You could even use the original music and voices and everything and just redo it.
That pains me hearing that, though.
I don't want it. It does. Yeah, it does.
I'm just saying it's very possible.
Absolutely possible. I just don't want it to be possible.
It is possible.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.